you so much for joining us on another segment of the Power Play. You can listen on iHeartRadio.com. Today we have a very special guest. Like this guest is so special, this is going to be unscripted,
Holy
right?
cow.
Yeah, there we go.
Are,
Holy
are,
cow,
are we,
right?
is the world ready for this?
I don't know. You said holy cow, and I think what we're about to give can feed a village.
It's a symbolic holy cow. So that makes it like, hopefully that makes it more palatable to people that respect the holy cow.
That's right. And since this is a
I-
holy cow, I think this is going to be spiritual. I think it's going to be enlightening, a lot of different things, right? So,
Sets the
Joel,
tone. Yeah.
Joel Stover, talk a little bit about yourself. Like this is just incredible. We met on the fly, but you're just an incredible poet, artist. Your background is just illuminating. You've had the experience of being inside the matrix, out of the matrix, former software engineer at Google, turned savior to people in different communities, turned now to announce iHeartRadio podcast host for Out of the Office. Talk about that. What's up, man? Thanks for
Thanks
joining us.
to thanks to yourself, DJ Magix. Actually, I have questions about that because I'm not exactly totally sure how you found me. We just met each other like what? How long? Has it been about a week? Has it even been that long?
Yeah, it's been about a week, but it's just been so natural, organic, really just like this conversation. I found Jeremy Hecht, this guy, he's doing stuff with like, other publications and stuff, and he does an amazing event in Los Angeles. It's something dope. Talk about that a little bit.
Something dope. Like, dude, like I've been trying to get this book published. It's called Free to Move. And I just been looking for places to kind of recite the poetry and like get that human element into it. Because I know I'm meant to be like out there in the community. This isn't supposed to be just this solitary thing. No man is an island, and I'm definitely not an island.
If you were
I've
a,
been
a plot of land, what would you be? Would you be a farm?
No, no, I'd be a city and I'd be like probably New York's probably closer to it, but like a garbage city for sure. Like we're talking giant rats eating pizza. We're talking cool spray paint graffiti that like is better than any like you might think it's Banksy, who knows what it is, but you know it's gorgeous. These moments of art and of life that are just witnessed in a field and lived and embodied in. That's kind of my jam. I'm currently out in the
Amazing.
desert though. I love that. I love that vibe
Now we're
too.
gonna
Like,
come to that, but let's
yeah,
let's kind of go back to the origin, right? Because you had this spiritual awakening, if you will, right? You were in the Matrix and you were landslide, probably one of the most successful people in the Matrix, working with Sean Parker, crazy, the guy who, helped Facebook become what it is today, working with
just drop
Google.
the V. I don't know if that's actually like I learned that off of the
Yeah.
social network watching
The
Justin
Facebook.
Timberlake play it.
Right, exactly. He played a good Sean Parker, I must
Yeah,
say.
I thought he did. I thought he did. Uh,
Nice. Was art imitating life like being around Sean Parker?
Honestly, there was it was like you have to realize that I'm this kid from Oklahoma, like really small town, and I've been slowly expanding my horizons, but I was not ready. I was not ready for being around like a billionaire dude and everything that came with that, um like especially like honestly, dude, like I had like this stick just stuck right up my butt about like how everything's like I needed things to go a specific way and have a specific kind of thing going with it. And
But there was an organized chaos essentially.
yeah, yeah, and I was not ready for that chaos. It introduced me to a world that I never thought I'd get the opportunity to be in.
Did it
Um
change you?
it did change me. It changed me a lot actually. And in a weird way, it's kind of resurfacing now. It made me start thinking a lot about celebrity culture and being in the public eye and influencing. I don't know if you saw any of the stuff I sent you earlier, but I'm really kind of excited to explore this celebrity kintsugi idea.
Oh yeah, that is just so incredible that you're coming up with this idea of relating it to Japanese culture, and how the culture is defined, and there's different truisms, right? Right? There's different truisms that they may have that essentially express like how people are treated in this world. And for you wanting to talk, and we're not going to say too many names or whatever, but a really big celebrity that she ended up shaving her head, going crazy and stuff like that. You saw something relatable to that Japanese truism. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Like I think There's a way I've picked up this belief. I don't believe in being this belief being forced upon people. I used to really, I bucked against that a lot. But I eventually ended up picking up this belief for myself, dusting it off and saying, you know what, this is my belief. Um, this is all happening for a reason. We're here for a reason. And I think that a lot of what's happening in the celebrity world is it's kind of like the Barbie movie, actually. Like they talk about this with like you have the doll world and then you have the real world. And never shall the twain meet, but actually it's bi-directional. There's this flow that's happening between them both. And it's the same thing with celebrities. Like, we should be concerned about celebrity health and how we're treating them and what they're going through because they're not different from us. We're all like back to the cow thing. We're all cow. We're all parts of this like high dimensional cow. We just can't figure out like we see one side of this cow and we think, oh, that's a totally different organism, right? Like imagine being an alien coming down to Earth and you see like the side of a cow and then you see the front of the cow. As an alien, would you know that those two are the same thing? Right?
Right.
Like it's sort of like but because we've experienced it in these different ways, we know that that's part of the same thing. I think that's how society is. Like we are individuals and we have these different fragments, but we're also deeply connected to each other. So what happens to the people that are influential, the people that are highly visible, matters to us. It reflects our health and vice versa.
Do you feel
So
like they become a prisoner and lose anonymity? Talk about that a little bit.
yeah, I think, and I think that sense of privacy is really important for one's development and growth. Like things need space. Like I like this is one of my favorite phrases right now. Like the notes that you play are just as important as the notes you don't play, the rest notes. We need that rest. We need that space. We need that ballast in order to express ourselves properly.
Yeah,
And
and because
celebrities
sometimes
don't
with
get that.
people they don't, and that's why some are here today, gone tomorrow. But they also say they build you up just to break you down because eventually they don't want to hear from you anymore. Whether it's like, all right, your album was number one, and it's like, well, get this out of here. Here's the next big thing. Here's the next new thing, right? Out with the old, in with the new, whatever you want to call it, age old,
Right.
sayings, and we all know them cliches. But why do you think it's like that? Why do you think the system puts people through it, exploits people through it? When they're done with them, they throw them out like trash. Talk about that a little bit.
Fuck, dude. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Sorry. But it's part of our trauma. It's part of our inherited trauma. I think we've all inherited this system that exploits people, that extracts value out of people. And I'm a big believer. I like to say nature uses all parts of the buffalo. And I believe that's true in the sense of capitalism too. Like, although like like this structure is extractive and can be exploitative, I also see the threads in which it's healing itself, the threads of coherence, the ways that it also is an energy, is a flow between us. And we can ground that in the good. But at the same time, we're still experiencing these cyclic patterns, this eye for an eye, this when you have violence in a system, it begets violence and it begets violence. And it just, in order to escape that, you need to find the right dampening. You need to find the right place in the system where we can say, like, yes, like you were hurt. How do we do this in a way to where it's not like this defensive response, it's this armored response, or it's like a FU2 response? Like,
And
I
I
think
love
we need,
that. But what
go
do you
ahead.
say to those people? I love that, Joel. But what do you say to the people that believe that fear is more powerful than love?
Are there people out there that actually believe that?
Yeah, well, some people do believe they'd rather be feared than loved. What do you say to those people?
I'd say, let me show you a different way. Like, it's not just about a more powerful, it's also about more enjoyable. Like, do you want to live the rest of your life in joy, or do you want to live your life powerful? What does that even mean? What is power getting you? Like, how do you want to feel? That's my question. It's like it's a red herring to me. Like, why does anyone want power? Like I think they kind of stop at that gate and they think like, oh, it's just something that I think we can put our eyes on and say like, once we have this, they can't hurt us anymore. But the goal was never to not be hurt. You don't get out of life hurt. You don't like not hurt. You don't get out of life like not damaged in some way. It's how you heal. It's how you approach. It's how you return.
Yeah. And you feel that in the same sequence, hurt people, but love. people that are loved truly know how to love?
I think so. And it's I think there's both virtuous cycles and there are toxic cycles. And we have these patterns that like replicate each other. And that's, anything that lasts a long time has to have that replication cycle, right? And when you look at back at our past, we obviously have these cycles of violence that keep propagating. So to me, the question becomes, where are the places, where are the parts in this cycle that they are propagating? And not just where, but how do we give that space? It's like redshift. Like, okay, get this, right? The universe always expanding. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? They call that redshift. That's like everything is moving away from each other. No matter where you look, we get this redshift effect where somehow everything we're like it's not nothing's getting closer to us. Things are just always constantly spreading apart. I think that's kind of the universe's way of saying like as time goes on, we all get more space. We get more room for ourselves. And that room, we can use that to heal. Like we get that space because we need that space to grow and respond and have our own place to do it. Like that's why I think New York is such an interesting like response for me to talk about if I was a land, what would I be? Because it makes me it I just and creatively, artistically, it's this beautifully diverse ecosystem that New York has. And I'm just like I'm very inspired by it because it's so messy and it's so everything all at once.
Well, speaking of New York, something's coming up. You want to spill the beans
Oh.
a little bit?
Yeah, why could I don't even know like could you talk about it a little
Oh,
bit? I'd
for
like to
sure,
hear
man. Well,
like
okay. Out of the office, something incredible. Joel Stover, new host on a new podcast on the iHeartRadio podcast network, airing and being pre-recorded this Friday in New York at the headquarters, home of the Breakfast Club, home of 103.5 KTU,
dude, I love
iHeartRadio. This
breakfast.
guy is stepping in the building, and he is doing his first two episodes for his show this upcoming Friday. How does it feel? Does it feel surreal? Well, better yet,
It
how'd your
feels
mother
so
feel when you
surreal.
told her?
She didn't believe me. She thought I was like punking her or something. Like I felt a little bit I had some Ashton Kutcher energy going with it. I'm like, "No, mom, it's real." Like for some reason this is actually happening.
Well,
Like something we
how is she gonna
haven't
feel?
really
How is she gonna feel when you're at the headquarters and you do a selfie with her like, "Hey, mom, I'm here at iHeartRadio," or like you take your pictures, and like send them to her. How's she gonna feel then?
I think honestly, she's gonna feel very proud. Like she's a very good mom. I love her very much. And I think although like I can't blame her either. Like there's this part of this thing that feels very unreal to me. Like it just I've been out in California just doing my own thing, just trying to like just kind of getting my life back on track. This is something that we plan on talking about, but I'm clean. I'm recovering from addiction right now, and my focus has been on my health and on my writing, on my art, because that art has been part of my transformation and my healing
And
process.
let's pause on that a little bit because we're that's a great tease, right? And you guys can
Yeah,
expect more of that in his upcoming podcast out of the office because the whole concept is this guy has come from corporate America from Google, one of the biggest companies in the world. I would say probably valued at $1 trillion at this point. He's worked with Sean Parker directly under Sean Parker, helping him with a multi-million-dollar business. He had some bumps along the way. We're talking about real life things. That's how you're going to be able to relate to this.
please
And
fasten your
then
safety belts.
that's right. And so he's coming to you out of the office, debuting this month. Headquarters iHeartRadio. His first show is going to be recorded this Friday, and his first two episodes are going to be coming out this month. It's going to be incredible. Buckle up. Now, let's rewind and just go. Let's go back to the origin just for a tad bit, and then we'll go forward.
Yes, sir.
But let's talk about Oklahoma. Tell us your origins and how did you get this love and affinity for math, science, tech?
Honestly, it was video games, like computers. I started we're gonna talk about this more on the show, but sometimes like there's weird parts where I feel like, does this sound like a Potter book to anyone else? Like my computer lab teacher was named Mrs. Sparks, and I was learning how I like it was the first time that I was learning with like a computer in front of me. I remember it had this little the entertainer. Do you know that like ba da 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 ba da ba da ba da 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 ba da
That's
ba
right. Yep.
and that little and those like weird 8-bit tones that like the 8088 processor had. I think it was on chip, but like the little 3.5 disk floppy you insert it in and then suddenly you're learning English. Suddenly you're learning mathematics and
Oregon
Mrs.
Trail.
We didn't play Oregon Trail actually, but I do have stories about the Oregon Trail. Like we actually I had this company that moved from Tulsa, Oklahoma to Portland, and we kind of made this like little documentary about it. And we kind of modeled like we had these t-shirts that were like the Oregon Trail made by like my best friend at the time. It was cute, and nobody died of dysentery.
Right. Oh, because I remember when I was
But
playing, people were dying along the way. I was just like, man, why's my buffalo dying? Why is my horse dying and I'm
that was
stuck
the
in this
alternate
cold?
title for it. Why are my buffalo dying?
Right, exactly. So I guess we didn't use all the buffalo then, but so now the background, the tech and everything, like you went
Right.
through competitions, right?
That's right.
Talk about
Yeah,
that. You won some and some really, great tailwinds over there. Talk about that a little bit.
yeah. It's also done on the computer. I sat in that computer lab. I think I was in the second grade, and I wrote this little short story called "Birthday Extravaganza." And this was before I knew I did like kiss a boy. Dusty was his name under the mistletoe in the second grade as well. That's kind of weird. But like this is before I knew like that I was gay and before extravaganza maybe belonged to the gay people. But we loan it out to you. You're welcome. But it was a story about like my dad coming to my birthday party or something, and I think I feel like I won third place in the state writing contest, and I honestly don't think any of that would have been possible without the computer because like I'm left-handed for one thing, so I never really liked writing that much, and like I'd always get the pencil stuff and like being able to do that and like modify the words more quickly and copy and paste and like have this processor worked much better with the way that my brain worked. So there's this weird way in which like computers have been like almost like my best friend or my buddy or like this thing by my side this whole time that have like helped me out in these places that I otherwise would have been lost in because I'm a little bit of a special sauce kid, right? And my programs never judged me, my games never judged me. They only informed me, entertained me, like we had this
Connect with
relationship
you.
together. Yeah. And I
Mhm.
that's part of what I want to bring to other people, especially with this AI like there's such cool tools out there and they provide such opportunity for people to elevate
Well,
themselves.
before we get into Desert Fun, we're going to talk a little bit
Yeah.
about iHeartRadio again because I feel like you're being welcomed in that space as well. Like, coming onto the iHeartRadio podcast network, having your own
Super grateful
show.
for that. Yeah.
Yep, it's going to be a really big deal. You're going to be able to talk to communities of people, and that's going to segue into you helping a lot of people. So now let's unpack Desert Fund. Like, what is that? Why is it important for people? And what are the next steps and plans on that end?
Well, the desert is kind of this place of polarity, right? There's a lot of ways in which what I see in the desert kind of reflects where we are at in America today, this polarization that's happening. And everything lives by these gated communities where even access to water, something as simple as access to water can feel so like there's like water fountains at these different hotels and they look fabulous. But at the same time, there's like people asking for water at the Starbucks and they're like, sorry, I can't give it to you. Like you have to buy something else. Like depending on whether you're homeless or retired might depend on whether you have good access to water, right? And Desert Fund, like it's looking at the communities that are falling through the cracks. We have veterans that live out there in the area that I'm talking about, Palm Springs, Indio, Cathedral City. There's veterans. There are people who are dealing with addiction issues. That's been a big thing since COVID. There's a large Hispanic population with growing families, with all these businesses that are freaking hustling and also dealing with like the trauma of what we have with the Trump administration. And I don't believe in being above anyone that is going through these different journeys that are more difficult than what than we all have our own journeys, right? Like the idea isn't to help people, it's to help them help themselves, like to help them unblock where they're blocked. They know where they're going. That's their story, what they're doing. But we can do things where we remove the friction. And the reason we want to remove the friction is because they have something for us, just as much as we have gifts for them. When we live in this world of abundance and overflow, they have something to give back to us. And I'm really excited to see what these communities that are often overlooked have to have to give back to us when we start being generous to them.
Amazing. And that sounds like a wild story. Now, I'll tell you what, um, Joel, go ahead and let them know where they can contact you and connect with you if they want to know more about Desert Fund and if they want to know more about Out of Office coming up, iHeartRadio Podcast Network. Talk about that a little bit. Tell them where they can connect with you.
Yeah, so you can check out Desert Fund at desertfund.org. I have no idea how I was able to get that like domain name and nobody had taken it. Like desertfund.com is like $4,000 or something, but desertfund.org is kind of like the proposal written out. I think there's even some AI prompts. Like part of the idea behind this is that we could provide prompts for people dealing with different issues, whether it's emotion regulation, family planning, dealing with trauma, that kind of stuff. These AI like prompts are kind of like these magic spells that we can cast and like survey these new lands of like ways of helping us help ourselves. So that's kind of part of the idea. But as for me, my name is Joel Stover. You can find me on awildsort.com. That's like my site. There's a newsletter there. It's called Words to Inbox. I'm egregiously late on shipping that out today, but there's poetry there. And you can also definitely check me out on Instagram and TikTok. A Wild Sort is my Instagram account. There's also Facebook there. With TikTok, I think it's called a Wilder Sort, like with a ER, like my Pokemon Advanced second form. Uh, I'm personally scared of my third final form too. Like it feels like that's going to be too much for everybody, so we're going to stick to the second level right now. A
And
Wilder Sort.
that's where we're headed right now. And we're about to see in the world. Some will
Yeah,
say not ready, but they certainly will be.
it's super effective.
Yes, awesome. Well, Joel, thanks so much for joining us on the Power Play. You can listen on iHeartRadio.com. This is MAGIXTHEMAN back at you again with another very special guest. Keep rocking with us.